Whew. Let me ask you something. When Fulham made it 2-2 in the 91st or 92nd minute, Old Trafford went quiet, not angry, just tense. And then 3 minutes later, Benjamin Sesko bends into the top corner and the stadium explodes. But here is a question. Why did this win feel different to every late goal chaos United game has ever seen before? Because we all knew this game wasn't luck. This wasn't just vibes how we played before. This was a Manchester United side that is slowly learning how to change the suffering into winning moments. United have won many late games in the 90s, in the 2000s, but even when it was 2-2 today, we all fans knew that there is a third goal there, and there is a third goal from Manchester United and not Fulham. Like I said, this Manchester United side knows how to change the suffering into moments and how to manage the crucial moments of the game as well. And most importantly, they replace chaos with control without losing the edge. And the answer sits in two places, right? Two players, because of whom United won today. One player United are about to lose in the summer, and one player who's quietly stabilizing everything and no one is even talking about it. Let's talk about Casemiro and Senne Lammens. This was a game which exposed everything. The 3-2 win over Fulham was not just a fluke. There was a precision from a surgeon, a controversial opener, a set piece goal, United struggling against a deep block, late collapse, and fear started creeping. But then the belief of Manchester United and the fans and the supporters and the players, and then came the big redemption arc. On paper, this might just sound like another dramatic United win. But I always say this and I'll repeat this again: context matters. Since taking over, Michael Carrick has beaten Manchester City, Arsenal, and now Fulham, a side that didn't give them space. People can argue saying that Manchester City, you beat them in transition. Arsenal, yeah, fine. I mean, there was two brilliant goals. There wasn't great football, blah, 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 blah. But today, Fulham did not give United space to breathe. The last part is what matters. They made their own space. Because historically, United have always been comfortable when teams start playing higher up on the pitch. But when teams sit deep, that's where United crumble. Except this time, they didn't. Why? Because Michael Carrick didn't try to over-engineer solutions like other managers in previous times has done. He used three things: smart set piece usage, game intelligence, and controlled aggression. United never chased the game. United chased moments in the game where they felt Fulham were trying to sit on the back. United capitalized on this. Which brings us to the first pillar of this rebuild, the big problem: Casemiro. Casemiro is a problem which United can't solve easily. Let's be very brutally honest about it. Replacing Casemiro is not about replacing a player. It is about replacing a profile that doesn't exist easily anymore in modern day football. United have to make big decisions in the summer, one of whom is who will be the manager of this Manchester United Football Club. If is it Luis Enrique, is it Michael Carrick, is it Xavi, Zinedine Zidane, so on and so forth. Whoever it is, they all have different profiles of a central defensive midfielder. So United have to carefully think this through on who they want to sign. Agreed, Casemiro is 34, his legs aren't what they are, but watch what happens when he leaves the pitch today. The moment Casemiro was subbed off in the 75th minute, Fulham found space between the lines. United lost control for all of the second balls. The game tilted, and that's not coincidence. Casemiro gives United four things in one body: set piece dominance, that header, what you saw from Bruno Fernandes, that's 10 12 goals a season you don't replace with tactics. He scored his fifth goal for the Premier League this season. Highest he scored in a season is six. That's the first thing. The second thing is game intelligence, knowing when to foul, where to foul, and why to foul. Everyone said in the start of the game, oh, Harry Wilson, Alex Iwobi, Sander Berger will run United's midfield. They will dominate Casemiro. He will again leave football, so on and so forth. All three of them didn't have a sniff till the 75th minute. That man bodied Harry Wilson so bad that Harry Wilson suddenly started moving outside of the flank because he realized there is no space left in the game. The third thing is progressive courage. His pass to Cunha for the second goal, that's vertical bravery. Last but not the least, nastiness. Look, he's not a dirty player. Yes, of course, he's going to put a two-footed tackle here or there. He'll take that stupid red card. But he's not dirty. He is street smart. Eric Ten Hag once famously called him, he is the cement between the stones. And you saw it again there. The question is not about who replaces Casemiro. The real question is, do Manchester United even know what they're about to lose? Because buying a younger, faster midfielder won't replace set piece ability, won't replace leadership, definitely not defensive authority. And that's where Carrick's philosophy quietly reveals itself. He is actually telling Manchester United board, that's the sort of player who I want, or whoever the manager is. Those are the kind of traits what I'm looking for a midfielder. Or if the manager is, let's say, a Luis Enrique or a Xavi or a Zinedine Zidane or Eddie Howe, whoever you want to call it, right? That's what he's trying to showcase to the board. Now, United against deep blocks is actually more like a set piece evolution. We can cry all about, oh, you know what, Arsenal are doing that. They play for set pieces, this and that. But look at today's game. Fulham didn't play high. They didn't overcome it. They sat, they waited, they tried to frustrate. Credit to Marco Silva for not losing his patience. And United responded with something we rarely associate with them. United showed double the patience. United said, you know what, you want to sit back? That's fine. We'll play around the ball. The opener didn't come from a brilliance in an open play. It came from process. A downgraded penalty, a wide free kick, a rehearsed delivery, a dominant header, and that's not accident. That's training room routine. This season, Arsenal has scored 17 set piece goals. United have scored 14. That's elite company. Carrick understands something vital. You don't break deep blocks by forcing creativity. You actually break them by forcing reactions. And how did Fulham react? The moment United started playing the ball around, Fulham started to chase. United's attackers found space. That's why Brian Mbumo as a false nine is such a big reference point. That is why Brian Mbumo is one of the reasons why United have won 3 games. Because the moment he starts running, Bruno Fernandes gets space. And let's be honest, right? You can give space to anyone inside the box, but not Bruno Fernandes because he doesn't forgive you. He becomes even more decisive. This is controlled aggression. This is not chaos. And yet, for all this progress, United still conceded late. Which leads us to the second most important pillar. When United signed this 23-year-old young keeper from Belgian league, everyone said, "Oh, I mean, yeah, what can be possibly worse? I mean, Andre Onana was possibly the worst signing for Manchester United. Senne Lammens is, yeah, just a short-term fix. Almost everyone wanted Emiliano Martinez, but look what has happened to him this season. Goalkeeping is the hardest job, and goalkeeper of Manchester United is even more harder. When Fabian Barthez left Manchester United, United had to wait 4 or 5 years till they found Edwin van der Sar. When Edwin van der Sar left, United found it even harder to replace with David Daya. We tried so many different keepers. Anders Lindegaard came in between, and he wasn't up to the mark. Gary Neville said this very famously, and I completely agree with him that it is the hardest job in the world of football. And history proves it. After instability with Andre Onana, Altay Bayinde, United didn't buy a superstar. They bought Senne Lammens. And here is the irony. His numbers, not spectacular, but his impact, massive. All right, let's break it down. He has prevented 3 goals today versus the highest XG against the elite keepers. Think about his reaction saves against Zubimendi's header, this double save against Wolves. This isn't flashy, it's reliable, it's aerial dominance, and this is the big one. Sonny Lemons owns his box. When multiple crosses came from Fulham today, Sonny Lemons kept punching it, kept collecting it. He comes off his line, punches decisively, sometimes collects it, relieves the pressure of the back line. That's what matters because United defended deeper in today's game. A calm goalkeeper allows defenders to hold the shape, midfielders to recover the ball, the team to breathe. Sometimes, when you think about it, goalkeeping is all about giving assurance or peace to the most important players in your team, which is your creative outlet. Now, if I had to show you how much has Senne Lammens' distribution been, it's very simple. Senne Lammens' distribution has been more towards the left hand side, and if you think about it, he can definitely play out from the back. He can play long. In fact, if you think about his goal kick, 87% are long range kicks, 13 are short kicks. And when you think about open play, he gives that calm. His distribution, okay, is one of the top class, at least in Premier League this season. People often complain that hey, he goes long, but that's the instruction. That's not fear. Carrick doesn't want any risky build-up plays or self-inflicted chaos, as we call it. He wants territory. He wants second balls because he knows in my front four, which is Bruno Fernandes, Brian Mbuemo, Amad Diallo, Matthias Cunha, or Dorgu, or Shesko, whoever plays, right? They all can win the second ball. And what happens with that is the moment United win the second ball, they can go on a counter or they can attack via wings. And when Sonny Lemons makes a mistake, he recovers. That's elite mentality. That's gold. Now, the most important thing about this whole Sonny Lemons debate is very simple. If you think about it, United had a keeper in Andre Onana, where let's be very honest about it, right? Andre Onana couldn't save his own life. Forget a goal. Now, there is this important line which I read somewhere. Are United getting nastier or smarter? The article which I read had a great statistical line which says United are focusing on the recovery runs and tackles rather than front foot pressing. Okay, this is another word for transition. They are choosing where to be aggressive. This isn't a Jurgen Klopp chaos. This isn't a Guardiola control. This is situational intelligence. Yes, they foul. Yes, they retreat. Man United are the biggest gamblers in Premier League. We always have been under Sir Alex Ferguson as well. We do gamble. But look at the trade-offs. A late penalty conceded? Yes. Late equalizer conceded? Yes. But still, Air Shesko had the composure to win it for Manchester United. Now, that is a growth in mentality. That's a team learning that control doesn't mean domination, it means surviving moments. So, where does this leave Manchester United with? Look, 3 games, 3 good results. We play Spurs at home, who have drawn Manchester City today. Okay, a Spurs team under Thomas Frank is the most unpredictable team on planet Earth because they're fourth in the Champions League, struggling in the Premier League, have drawn against Man City. Okay, where Spurs are really to bare bones. So where does this leave Manchester United with? They're not rebuilt. They're not finished. They're definitely not elite, but they're something new. They are less fragile, more intelligent, more adult. Carrick isn't fixing everything. He is fixing habits. And here is the uncomfortable truth, which I think we all should know. If United recruit badly this summer, especially replacing Casemiro, all this progress collapse. But look at the upside. If they get it right, this is not a new manager bounce. This will become a blueprint for whoever the manager is. Because right now, Man United don't look chaotic. They look deliberate. And that's the most dangerous version of Manchester United we have seen in years. At least this is the United which I have seen growing up. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to PN Playbook because when narratives crack, we don't react. We analyze. See you in the next one. Thank you.